World of Words, Special Season, Night of the Threshold, Days of Light. Episode 2, Early May, the Day of Rising Light. Welcome to the second episode of our Walpurgis Night and May Day Special Season. A quiet movement into the early days of May. A soft step from threshold into rising light. If Walpurgis Night is the evening that opens the door, then early May is the moment when the world begins to breathe differently. A day shaped by warmth that gathers, by light that rises gently, by a season that unfolds without hurry. Across many landscapes, from open fields to quiet hillsides, from coastal mornings to soft inland meadows, the first days of May carry a particular clarity. The air feels lighter, the ground holds a new warmth, the sky widens in a way that invites you to pause, to look, to sense the world shifting toward brightness. Early May is not a celebration of noise or spectacle. It is a gesture of rising light, of gentle beginnings, of the soft courage that comes with a new season. It is a day that does not demand attention, yet it changes the way the world feels. A day that carries the memory of winter and the promise of what will grow. A day that lifts the light just enough for you to notice the movement of the year. And so in this episode, we open this word. Early May. A word that carries warmth, clarity, and the quiet rising of light. Chapter 1. Welcome to a new episode of World of Words, and to the first quiet step into the early days of May. Today we turn to a word that carries warmth, yet moves gently. A word that rises without rushing. A word that opens the season in a soft, steady way. Early May. A phrase shaped by light. Light that lifts. Light that widens. Light that touches the world with a calm, growing clarity. It is a phrase with two movements. Early, a beginning, a first breath, a moment when the world feels lighter, as if the air itself were preparing to open. May, a month shaped by growth, by soft mornings, by the quiet courage of new leaves and rising warmth. Together the phrase carries a gesture of brightness, not a blaze, not a sudden shift, but a gentle lifting of the day. Early May is a moment when the world feels both familiar and new. The ground holds the memory of winter, yet the air carries the promise of what will grow. The sky widens in a way that invites you to pause, to breathe, to sense the season turning toward light. Perhaps you feel a small movement within yourself, a readiness, a soft curiosity, a sense that something is beginning to rise. Early May is such a moment when the year gathers itself, when the light lifts just enough for you to notice the quiet unfolding of the season. As you step into this chapter, you step into that rising light, a day that carries warmth, clarity, and the gentle opening of early May. Chapter 2: The Inner Scene. Perhaps something shifts within you when you think of this phrase. Early May. A warmth that rises gently, a movement that does not hurry, a sense of standing in a moment that carries both memory and beginning. Early May holds these in-between spaces. It is not a symbol of urgency, but of presence. A presence that widens softly, like the morning light settling across a familiar landscape. Imagine standing in the quiet in a place within you where the day brightens without glare, where the air feels light, where something in you begins to rise without effort. This inner landscape is not dramatic. It is not shaped by strong contrasts. It is formed by subtle movements, the kind that unfold almost without being noticed. Perhaps you sense a shift in your breath, a softening in your shoulders, a widening in your chest, a feeling that the world has just a little more space than it had a moment ago. Early May is such a space where winter's weight has lifted, not suddenly but gradually, through warmth, through clarity, through the gentle rising of light. In this inner scene, you might imagine a small clearing before you. Not a path, not a direction, just an open place in the landscape of your mind. It does not lead forward or backward. It simply is. A place where you can pause, breathe, and feel the season gathering around you. Perhaps you notice the air in this inner place, cool enough to remember the months behind you, warm enough to welcome the days ahead. This is the breath of early May, a breath that carries both memory and possibility. You stand here between two movements, the last quiet of early spring and the first rising of summer light. Nothing demands your attention. Nothing pulls you forward. Nothing holds you back. You simply stand in this inner landscape, and the day opens around you. Perhaps you feel a small glow within you, not a flame, not a spark, but a gentle brightness that rises from a place you cannot quite name. It is the brightness of readiness, the brightness of transition, the brightness of a day that lifts the light just enough for you to sense the turning toward warmth. Early May is not a moment of certainty. It is a moment of openness. A moment that allows you to feel the world as it shifts. Softly, steadily, toward rising light. In this inner scene, you are not asked to decide, to act, to change. You are simply invited to be present, to feel the quiet movement of the season, to sense the widening of your own breath, to stand in a place where the world leans gently toward beginning. This is the inner landscape of early May, a landscape that opens not outward, but inward, where the rising light of the season touches something in you that is ready to lift. Chapter 3: The Outer Scene. Imagine a morning in early May. The air is cool, yet touched by a rising warmth that feels steady, gentle, unhurried. The sky carries a soft brightness, a light that does not dazzle, but settles across the landscape like a quiet invitation. You walk through a place that could belong to many regions: a meadow in the countryside, a hillside path, a quiet field at the edge of a small town, a coastal rise where the morning wind moves lightly across the grass. The light is the same everywhere, soft, lifting, shaped by the calm clarity of early May. Trees stand with fresh leaves, the branches holding the first full green of the season. The ground is warm beneath the surface, carrying the scent of new growth, of damp earth, of the gentle unfolding of spring. Birdsong rises in the air, not loud, not insistent, but steady, as if the morning itself were breathing in long, even rhythms. You walk a little further. The path beneath your feet is simple, familiar, the kind of path shaped by many quiet steps over many quiet seasons. It leads through a landscape that feels open, yet held. A place where the world widens without overwhelming. In the distance you see a small rise in the land, a gentle slope touched by morning light, a place where the day seems to gather itself before unfolding. There is no rush here, no urgency, only presence. A few figures might be moving across the landscape. Someone walking a dog, someone tending a garden, someone simply standing still, watching the light lift across the field. The world feels spacious in this early May morning, not vast, not empty, but wide enough to let your breath deepen, to let your thoughts settle, to let your senses open to the quiet movements of the season. Perhaps you notice the way the wind shifts, cooler in the shade, warmer where the sunlight touches the ground. It carries the scent of grass, of new leaves, of the soft warmth rising from the earth. You step closer to the open field. The light gathers on the horizon, lifting gently as if the day were rising from within the land itself. Shadows soften, colors brighten, the morning opens. And yet nothing feels sudden, nothing feels sharp. Early May is a day of gradual rising, a day in which the world brightens without haste, a day in which the light lifts in its own time. You stand at the edge of this outer scene, and the world around you feels both steady and new. Perhaps you sense that this morning is not only a moment in the season, but a way of meeting the turning of the year. A way of standing in the quiet space between what has been and what is beginning to rise. The light is still lifting. The day is still opening. The threshold is still unfolding. And you are part of it. A presence in the landscape. A witness to the rising light. A quiet participant in the gentle unfolding of early May. Chapter 4. The Word. Origin, Sound, Meaning. Early May. A simple phrase, yet the phrase that carries a quiet movement. A rising, a lifting, a soft unfolding of the season. Let us open this phrase in its two parts. Its origin, its sound, its meaning, its gentle inner gesture. Early, a word shaped by beginnings. In Older English, earlig meant at the start, in the first light, in the first movement of the day. Early is a word of openness, a word that leans toward possibility, toward clarity, toward the soft courage of taking the first step. It is a word that carries the freshness of morning, the quiet readiness of a day that has just begun, the sense that something is rising even before it is fully visible. Early is not a rush. It is a beginning, a gentle one. May. One of the oldest month names in the English language, rooted in the Latin maius, a word connected to growth, to rising warmth, to the soft strength of the season. In many cultures, May is the month of opening, of blossoms, of longer days, of the first steady warmth that settles into the land. May carries a gesture of expansion, a widening of the sky, a lifting of the air, a quiet invitation to step into brightness. It is a month that does not push but welcomes. Together. Early May becomes a phrase of rising light, a moment when the world gathers itself and lifts gently toward warmth. It is a phrase that holds beginning, the first breath of the season, warmth, the soft return of steady light, clarity, the brightness that reveals without glare, movement, the slow upward shift of the year, presence, the calm awareness of a day opening. Early May is not a single definition. It is a field of meanings, a quiet landscape in which several gestures coexist, a landscape of rising light. The sound. The phrase moves in two rhythms. Early, a lifting two-beat movement, like the first steps of morning. May, a soft open landing, a single syllable that widens gently. Together the phrase rises and settles, a movement from beginning to brightness, from coolness to warmth, from threshold to unfolding. It is a phrase that breathes. The meaning. Early May is not a command. It is an invitation. A quiet gesture of the season. A soft rising of light. A moment when the world opens without asking anything of you. It is a phrase that carries both memory and possibility. The last cool breath of early spring and the first warm breath of the days ahead. A phrase that opens a space within you. A space where the world leans gently toward brightness. Chapter 5. Linguistic Miniatures. When we look at the phrase early May, we do not see a single meaning. We see a landscape, a field of quiet gestures, a set of small windows through which the season reveals itself. Each miniature is a soft movement, a subtle shift of meaning, a way in which English carries warmth, clarity, and the rising light of the season. Let us open these words one by one. 5.1 Early as beginning, a language of first light. In older English, early carried the sense of in the first light, at the start of the day, in the first movement of time. Early May holds this beginning. It is not a beginning of urgency, but of gentle readiness. A moment when the world lifts its light just enough for you to notice the shift. It is the kind of beginning that feels like a breath you did not know you were waiting for. 5.2 May as warmth, a language of soft rising. The word May has long been linked to warmth, to growth, to the quiet strength of the season. In older dialects, May was described as the month of rising light, a time when brightness gathers not in a blaze, but in a steady, widening glow. Early May carries this warmth, a warmth that rises gently, that touches the world without pressing, that invites without insisting. 5.3 Light as clarity, a language of gentle seeing. In English, light is not only brightness, it is clarity, the soft revealing of form, the gentle opening of what was already there. The light of early May reveals without glare, shows without demanding attention, widens the world without overwhelming it. It is the clarity of a morning that unfolds because the air has grown soft enough to let you see. 5.4 Early as breath, a language of expansion. To take the early air was once a phrase for allowing oneself to widen, to let the morning expand within you. Early May is such a breath, a slow, steady expansion of the day and of the self. It is the breath you did not know you were holding until the rising light opened it for you. 5.5 May as memory, a language of returning warmth. In some regions, May was called the month of returning warmth, a phrase for the way certain days stayed with you long after they have passed. Early May carries this memory, a brightness that lingers, a warmth that returns, a moment that becomes a quiet companion in the days that follow. It is a days that stays. Chapter 6 Cultural Miniatures. Across many English-speaking landscapes, early May has long been a moment of quiet noticing, a soft recognition that the season has shifted, that the light has lifted, that the world has begun to open a gentle, steady way. These cultural miniatures are not grand celebrations. They are small, lived gestures, ways in which people have met the rising light of May with presence, with warmth, with a sense of calm renewal. Let us open these scenes one by one. 6.1 United States. The morning porch. In many parts of the United States, early May is felt in simple morning rituals. A cup of coffee on a porch, a quiet moment before the day begins, a pause to feel the warmth settling into the air. The light touches wooden steps, fresh leaves, the soft edges of a familiar yard. Birdsong rises from nearby trees, steady and unhurried. It is a moment when the world feels close, gentle, ready. 6.2 United Kingdom. The garden path. In the UK, early May often arrives through gardens, small paths lined with new blossoms, hedges bright with fresh green, the first steady warmth that lingers in the morning air. People step outside to check the soil, to see what has opened overnight, to notice the quiet growth that happens when the days begin to lengthen. The light falls softly on stone walls, on early flowers, on the calm rhythm of a garden waking. 6.3 Canada. The widening sky. In Canada, early May carries the clarity of white skies and the first true warmth after long months of cold. People walk along rivers, through open parks, across quiet neighborhoods where the air feels lighter than it did just weeks before. The sky stretches in soft blue. The ground holds the scent of thawed earth. And the morning carries a sense of spaciousness, a gentle widening of the world. 6.4 Ireland. The field at first light. In Ireland, early May is felt in open fields and soft hillsides, where the morning light moves across the grass in long, quiet strokes. People step outside to greet the day, to feel the coolness lifting, to sense the land opening toward warmth. The air carries the scent of damp earth, fresh leaves, and the first steady brightness of the season. It is a moment of calm presence, a meeting of land and light. 6.5 A shared gesture of rising light. Though the landscapes differ, the gesture is the same. People step outside. They pause. They feel the day opening. Early May is not a spectacle. It is a presence. A quiet, shared breath across many regions. A moment of warmth, of clarity, of rising light. A day that opens. Chapter 7. Meditation. The Day of Rising Light. Perhaps a quiet space opens within you when you think of early May. A space that widens gently, like morning light unfolding across a soft spring landscape. Let us step into this moment. Imagine standing at the edge of the morning. The air is cool, touched by a rising warmth that feels steady and calm. The horizon stretches before you, a line of pale gold, a breath of distance, a gentle invitation. The light lingers as if the day waits for you to arrive. Perhaps you feel a small widening within yourself, a sense of space, of ease, of quiet readiness. This is the horizon of early May, a horizon that opens both outward and inward. Before you lies an open field. The grass holds droplets of morning light, each one a small, bright world. The ground feels warm beneath the surface, carrying the soft strength of the season. A breeze moves across the field, lifting the air in long, slow waves. Perhaps you sense this movement within yourself, a gentle rising, a calm unfolding, a steady breath that meets the day. The world goes quiet, birdsong softens, shadows stretch in long, peaceful lines. A stillness forms, full, warm, spacious. It is the stillness of a day that opens without hurry, without pressure. Perhaps the stillness touches something in you. A breath, a thought, a direction that begins to form with ease. The stillness of early May offers space. Space to arrive, space to breathe, space to feel the world turning toward brightness. Breathe in and out. With each breath, the morning widens. With each breath, the light rises. With each breath, something in you settles. The day opens around you, soft and steady. Breathe in and out. the rising light becomes a place you can stand. Imagine a small glow forming within you, warm, steady, bright. Not a flame, not a spark, but a quiet light that rises from a place you recognize even without naming it. A May light. A light that carries the first warmth of the season, the soft movement of the day, the gentle readiness of early spring. This light stays. It moves with you. It opens a path within you. A path of calm, of presence, of rising clarity. Chapter 8. Thank you for stepping with me into the world of early May today. Perhaps this morning will stay with you, a quiet companion as you move through your day, your week, your early spring. Perhaps it will remind you that beginnings can rise gently, that clarity can arrive in soft movements, that the turning of the season often unfolds in small, steady gestures. Early May stands as a sign of rising light, of warmth gathering, of the world lifting itself toward brightness, of the calm courage that comes with a new season. It is a day that carries both memory and possibility, a day that opens without hurry, a day that invites you to pause, to breathe, to feel the subtle movement of the year. As you continue your path, you may feel a small echo of this early May morning, a sense of space, a gentle readiness, a quiet rising within you. Perhaps you notice the way the air changes in the coming days, a little warmer, a little wider, a little more open. Perhaps you sense the first steady brightness of the season, the softening of the ground, the way the world leans toward light. Early May is not a single moment. It is a gesture of rising warmth, of clarity, of gentle unfolding. And this gesture may accompany you as you move forward. A reminder that beginnings do not need to be loud to be real. In the next episode, we will open a new early May gesture, a new movement of the season. May blessing, the day that orders the paths. Until then, keep the warmth, the clarity, the rising light of this day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you feel called to wander a little deeper, scripts, audio pieces, and small companion materials are available on my channels, including YouTube and Payhip. Perhaps one of them will walk a little further with you.